Guys, welcome to the channel. Sunny here, and today we got one of the biggest global lab patches probably ever in video. This is literally the one I've been waiting on for years, and more are coming, already confirmed in it. Hit the follow. We're doing this live, by the way, every Friday at twitch.tv/bprimegaming. So come follow the stream, link in the description, and be here when we do a deep dive. We're gonna try and do our TLDR right now to catch up on all the stuff. And the full discussion, the full breakdown of all of these will be in the description. Also, shout out to Black Desert Foundry and Tansy. Link to the patch notes here will be there as well. Now, let's dive into it. First off, I'm a big alchemist. I don't know if you guys know this. I used to be a top 5 alchemist in all of NA. I've since chilled a bit, so I'm only Goo 43 at the moment. But I do quite a bit of alchemy. And this is the first time I can honestly say that I am happy with the alchemy changes. So we're gonna look at those a bit. This is the first time ever that PA is actually addressing the broken fundamental issues with alchemy. There's still a lot to do, but they're actually doing something about the fundamental issue instead of just buffing it and not fixing it. So I'm actually happy. There's some changes to War of the Roses, ship improvement, treasure furniture, and monster improvements, quality of life stuff, and then pretty much the single biggest PvE patch in video history. And there is some more information about the future direction of what they're doing here, which is really exciting. So even if your class and spec is not in today's patch, don't worry, there is probably going to be a new one next week. They're working on this for a while here, and it's massive. So let's get into it real quick. I'll do my best to speedrun this. So the alchemy improvements are very expensive. They talk a bit about how the actual production of the rare resources like traces and fruits are compared to what's being used. And basically people don't sell the stuff they have on the marketplace because they just hoard it, all that. Which creates bottlenecks and everything. So they're trying to do some big changes. The first they're doing for traces is this. They are going to increase the trace you get from nodes by big numbers. Again, you can check all the details, like doubling the production. It would be basically like having 2 workers on one node to get your traces, but they're just doubling the rate instead. So basically solving some of the issues with that way. On top of that, they are also getting more from the alchemy quest. So instead of 300, now you can get 500. And a big one here. They are changing gathering. So they are removing all the trade items from gathering, and instead you will be able to get traces while you're gathering, depending on what you are doing. So for mining, you can get traces of earth. When you're out collecting with your hoe, you can get traces of forest. Chopping will give you traces of ascension. Sap collecting will be memory. Butchering death, and then tanning will be savagery. So this is a way where you can actually get some. We don't know the rates of this, by the way, but just being able to go out there and collect them is going to be really nice. And also you don't have to deal with the weight of the trade items anymore. Now they're doing even more than that. First off, all the quest stuff that requires the trade items will be changed to require Fairy's Breath, which you just get passively en masse. Right, and they're also going to be adding traces to mobs. They're going to increase the rate at which you get them from different monsters, and adding them to different mobs as well for grinding to really just increase the rate you can get them. Next up for alchemy is sap items. They are going to be increasing the saps you get from nodes, from maple and pine by 1.5, the snowfields by 5 times, which is the one you need for destruction elixirs, and all the other ones are doubled from nodes. On top of that, they are increasing the amount you get from actual gathering from 2 to 4. It's now going to be 3 to 5, which at 2k mastery will mean you'll be, instead of getting between 10 and 20, you'll be getting between 15 and 25. On top of that, they are also adding a rare proc, a rare spawn when you're gathering, which is an Afuro. Whenever he spawns, you can, I think, talk to him or hit him, and you will get a bonus proc of saps. Great. So it's going to be a lot easier getting saps for alchemy. Next up is one of the other bottlenecks here. We got the traces improved, not solved, but improved. And next up is fruits. Now, they're going to give you 1.5 times as many fruits for your mysterious seed you get from farming. They're increasing the rate at which you get them from farming by 33%. And they're also increasing the rate at which you get fruit from gathering by 70%. So that's really nice, especially when you're thinking about the 10x proc and the chance of getting that on top of that 70% increase. So this is going to be a solid increase while still being a valuable resource. And now we get into more of the fun stuff. This not so much, but basically they're gonna change the turn-ins you can get from your byproduct, the mysterious catalyst. You're adding the different powders and then also shining powder as an option. Probably not gonna be that great, but if you're in a clinch and you need it, fine. This is awesome. They are finally, after all these years, addressing all the stupid inventory filling procs from Alchemy. They are removing flour, frying oil, the low tier alchemy stones, the green and blue grade, the melted gold, the gold ingot, the broken alchemy shards, and also the tenacious origin of life, which is used for an alchemy recipe, but you'll be able to make hundreds of thousands of those with all the bear gathering you're going to be doing. They're removing those finally, and they're actually adding some cool stuff instead that are useful. They're adding unknown seed, which I will talk about in a bit. The burn spirit remnants, which are used to make the immortal corruption elixirs, right? So you can get like this immortal thingy to make the potions that last through death. Alchemy stone fragments, so you can probably make splendid or resplendent alchemy stones, spirit stones, and sell them. And dead tree essence. Nothing amazing here. This one is really nice, but the other, it's whatever. The unknown seed, however. By now, you probably already heard about the truffle seed being added to the game, and this is it. However, it is not what you think it is. It's good, but it ain't all that. Basically, this right here is a rare proc, and getting this, you can turn it into a seed, and you can plant it in your farms. It will take up 10 slots in a farm, but you can only harvest it. You cannot breed it, you cannot sell it. It's basically a one and done for a bunch of truffles, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you'll be able to plant truffles and just harvest them continuously on your farms. It is just a bonus proc of truffles, a one and done. However, a new item can actually be acquired from this, and it's going to be white truffles. White truffles is going to work like truffles, except you get more output. So it sounds like whenever you're using white truffles, you'll get more potions on your procs than if you use regular truffles. It's something, I guess. So they're actually doing something with truffles as well. That's kind of cool. Furthermore, there's a bunch of items that are used in alchemy that you cannot sell or buy at the marketplace to make special potions and perfumes. They will now be sellable. That includes the Taurus Blood, Taurus Heart, Abyssal Essence, which is used to make Frenzied Draft, and the Burn Spirit Remnants. They're also increasing Everlasting Herd drop rate by 30%. And this one is super cool. They're adding Coral Crystal, which are used for deep sea elixirs, deep sea perfumes, and Blue Whale Oils, which are used for curd perfumes. They're adding those to sea monsters. So there's a fixed chance whenever you're doing sea monster hunting where you can get these super rare and valuable resources for the best perfumes in the game. On top of that, they are adding Griffin Claws as a drop from all the Griffins in the game. So that's the baby Griffins, regular Griffins, King Griffins, but also the ones from the scrolls. So there you go. If you have your scrolls laying around, then you can actually get some Griffin Claws from there. They are adding new spots for the Snowy Cedar Sap. Again, it's a very, very annoying sap to gather. So they're adding a new spot for that. And as we heard earlier, they're also increasing the sap you get from the node. And they're changing the visual of the tree. So now you can actually spot it and see the difference. It's basically a copy paste from, I want to say, pine trees or fir trees. I actually don't remember right now. But they're going to make it look more distinct so you can spot it now. And then they're talking a bit here about the changes. We saw that last week with the changes and in prices on the marketplace. That's the same here, it's just a copy paste. And they're basically saying the changes to the prices, it was not the full picture. They're sorry that they just put that out and made it look like they just increased prices, boom, Alchemy is saved. There was more to it, and this was it, and they should have put it all out at once. That's basically what they're saying. That was me, by the way, not you. Next up, War of the Roses. It's just a bunch of fixes. It's out in Korea, they're testing it, and it's talking about a lot of the changes. Unless you know how it already was, it's not a big deal. They're just right now working on making it even better. From what we've seen, it looks like it's a lot of fun. Hui Hotbar, who is a Korean streamer, streams in English. He played it. You can check out his YouTube channel. He has the full bot. He said it was a lot of fun, but a lot of things need to be fixed, and they're working on that right now. So I'm excited to see this in AEU, hopefully soon. And yeah, that's about that, right? We got some ship improvements for the disembarkment. You can now disembark 50% further away. They're adding 2 new treasure furniture items for the telescope and the crocodile stable. This is the telescope. It's pretty nice and pretty cool. And this is the crocodile stable. Ooh, it's so sick. It's so sick. Really well done, PA. Big shout out. Like, I might have to go and actually get a mention right now. This is just the best one. This beats everything else when it comes to the treasure item of furniture. Legitimately, oh my god, I love this. Super happy about this one. So if you guys didn't need more motivation to get all 3 T10 horses, well, here you have it. This is so cool. I just need to get a mention to put mine in, I guess. Next up, they are increasing the mob density at Basim Garrison, the Desert Naga Temple, Crescent, Sulphur Mine, and Pillar Coup Prison. Great, they needed it. Hopefully it's enough to make them like actually good. With the nerf to the Mani Kratuga, then maybe this could be alternatives. On top of that, they're also making a path from Sanguine Bazaar to the Desert Fogan spot, the Chili Valley, where you can just follow the Fogans in the desert, so you can find it very easily for newer players that are maybe not that accustomed to traversing in the desert. So maybe that's going to open up for it being actually more viable spot. Quick note about here, they are looking still to rebalance and adding value to some of the top end spots that are falling behind. And these are going to hit live along with the class changes. And the class changes will not hit live until after the Node War Championship, which ends October 29. So hopefully November 1st, we'll see all the class balance and the PvE changes then. Some of the things they're doing is they're adding memory traces to Gyphon. They're adding forest traces to Upper Gyphon. They're increasing trash loot from Ash Forest, adding Trace of Ascension to Olens and increasing trash loot. They are also adding changing traces from Despair to Forest at Queen's Hill and increasing trash at Altar Imps. They're changing this regular Thornwood Forest. They're changing all the CCs to be knocked back. And they're fixing some bugs at City of the Dead. More HP at Often. Next up is a great one. We want to see more of this. They are fixing issues around the world of things you get stuck on. So they are basically optimizing the map around the world. Here they're removing, again, wooden pillar objects, stone rubble, any things that, like, whenever you're playing, you just get randomly stuck in. Like here, removing the fence at Mansion Forest. So this is great. It's awesome. They're also doing it for Bowery. If you've ever done this fight, you know you just get stuck left and right on the ground, and they are looking to fix that stuff a bit at least. Great. Want to see more of that. That's a lot of this. You can check out the link in the description for more details. Next up, you can now name your pet groups. Great. And this one right here, I couldn't believe it. If you select sprint on your horse and you fall off it or go off it, it will still remember it. However, if you get into a loading screen, change channel, swap character, it will forget that you wanted to use the sprint. But if you're out riding, you need to do something, all that, you don't have to re-enable the sprint. Love it, love it, love it. They have the technology. Amazing little change. And then they're doing the change to the crystal, where you can do it from the inventory. You can even make crystal presets in the future with hotkey switches. That's coming. So you don't have to open the Black Spirit to change crystal presets anymore, and that's pretty nice. Nothing here is like anything of major. Now the class changes. This is Giga. So I highly recommend that you go and take a look at the numbers a bit for yourself for your class. If you're curious, I'll give you a general overview and also talk a bit about what the plan is with this. Okay, so first off, again, these will not be live until after the tournament stuff. So at earliest, that's November 1st. What they're saying here in the blue post is they want to buff classes up to Wusa level. And they say it would be easy to just nerf Wusa, but they want a buff. And while sure it would be easy to nerf Wusa, it wouldn't really solve the issue of, sorry, so we did this earlier. Let's say that you have like this right here, right? So you have Wusa up there being guard mode, and let's say they nerf it. Well, it still doesn't change the fact that you have these classes down here just being garbage, right? So of course they would still have to buff the other classes up, so it's not just as easy as, I don't know why Kuno got disappeared, maybe we'll see later. They would still have to buff the other classes up. So I don't agree that they could just nerf Wusa. I think Wusa is, of course, amazing, but they really need to bring the other ones up. I don't know why Kuno disappeared all of a sudden. So anyway, let's take a look at the numbers. Right, what they're also saying is this. They are buffing classes right now. They're looking at every single class in the game. And that means we can expect more patches. They're doing a first round change where they're going to focus on damage. They're trying to not change things that affect PvP. So that means protections and all that. They are not touching right now. They're just buffing damage. And I agree with this. And then they'll do a second round of changes where they will address things like protections that is needed for PvE, but will have an effect on PvP, so they can make a more smooth buffing and nerfing in that regard. And I think it's the right way of doing it. Affect the PvE damage first, and then change the other stuff that affects PvP afterwards. They're also saying that right now they're just buffing. However, as soon as this hits live, it's not a philosophy they have. It's just for this round of changes. They're looking to buff, not nerf. But they will nerf in the future. And they will nerf stuff that is over buffed as well. They are trying to get everything around Sock Booster PvE. So if your class comes out and it's blasting everything, expect it to be brought down to the rest. And I agree. I think it's great. Awesome. Okay, let's take a look here. So Sock Warrior is getting insane buffs. I said already Sock Warrior is one of the best. I stand by it. It's getting humongous damage buffs. Yeah. Like absolutely crazy. Scars of Dusk is going to deal 40% more damage than a fully charged Reckless Blow is going to. And it's a shorter cooldown, and it's a faster animation. And it will deal 40% more damage than a full charge Reckless Blow. Like, this is gonna be cracked. Huge damage numbers across the board for Sock Warrior. Sock Warrior is going to be it with these numbers. Sock Ranger is going to get some very, very nice changes, some cooldown reductions and all that. Big damage increases. It's gonna get really, really good increases. I don't think it's going to be broken or anything. I think it's good, super solid. I think it's gonna land really, really nice with this. Awakening is getting big buffs as well. I think it's definitely gonna be a super hard S tier class with this. However, very, very, very active class to play. So I don't think it's gonna be mid-size, too much work, right? Maver Awakening, lots of sustain increases, giga damage buffs on Awakening Maver. Definitely one of the big winners for all of this. Kuno Awakening, it's getting some HP recovery and all that. So it's getting some damage buffs. And like these two abilities, Lethal Spin and Pinwheel Fury, huge damage. The problem is they're apparently coded as summons, so they don't scale like normal attacks, which means they don't actually deal anywhere near the same damage as you would expect. Maybe next week, guys. Maybe next week. Yeah. I'm not convinced. This is something, it's buffs and everything, it's great, but I'm not convinced this is gonna bring it up on par. Succession Tamer is going to be really strong. It's already really good in PvE, and it's getting huge buffs as well. Awakening Tamer is getting big buffs, but I feel like Sock was already a bit better, and it got bigger buffs, but really good buffs on Awakening as well. I feel like this might not be quite up to par. Sock is definitely going to be wild. Succession Costera is getting some big buffs. I'm excited to see if this is actually going to be enough. I'm excited to see if this is actually going to be enough for Sock Costera. There are some big number changes, especially with the amount of hits, but yeah, we have to wait to see on this one. And then Dark Knight Succession is gonna get some really nice buffs, it seems. And Awakening is gonna get, I think the Sock is gonna be in a solid spot with this in the grand scheme of things. Awakening getting big buffs as well, but it doesn't seem like it's quite up there. Sock is getting, like, everyone is getting big buffs, guys. It's huge numbers. We are talking about 30-40% damage increases on so many abilities and classes right now. Honestly, out of this list here, all are looking juiced. My big winners, personally, is going to be Sock Warrior. Let me see here. Sock Warrior, Awakening Ranger, Awakening Maver, Sock Tamer, and Awakening Hash, and to some degree, Sock Musa. Sock Musa is not getting like giga damage except on Rising Storm, which is going to be completely naughty. But it already has wild damage. This is going to be super solid. Musa is going to get a turbo hard-hitting cross-crusher as well. But anyway, guys, I really recommend you guys to check out all the classes. We're going to get more in the coming weeks. We're going to get a second round of buffs and changes afterwards as well. It's exciting times, huge news, and I can't wait for the next Friday already to see what they're cooking right there. And yeah, don't forget to drop by the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great one. I'll see you in the next one.